Joining me now, CNN political commentators, Democratic strategist Dave Jacobson and Republican consultant John Thomas. Thank you for being with us. Okay, let's start with the leaks. John, to you, it's fair game to condemn the leak.
Of course.
But the other question is, was the White House going to tell us that the NSA actually had proof that Russia actually did hack the voting systems?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know their internal strategies. I think at some point they should have announced it, probably once the whole Russia investigation was complete. It's not surprising, though, that in a phishing scheme you cast a wide net, right? I mean, you can't rely upon one stupid person like John Podesta, whose password was password, to take the bait. You have to go to a lot of people. So I'm not shocked by this. I'm more shocked by the stupidity of the leaker, because typically when they leak, they don't hand physical things to reporters. It's all verbally done.
Yeah, it was sort of amateur hour, I guess, in one respect. But Dave, where does this leave the president and his claims that Russia tried to interfere with the election? That's just fake news.
Right. Well, I think it really does beg the question of whether or not the Trump administration was actually going to expose the fact that this took place. And look, I think the leaker was extraordinarily courageous, but I think there's going to be obviously a harsh penalty for the move. But at the end of the day, the information needed to get out, and clearly she felt compelled to do so. But I think at a time where you've got a White House who's firing the FBI director because they're trying to,
4 days
tamp down
after this information was published.
Precisely, and they're trying to embrace the sort of hush campaign in secrecy, hiding information from the American people. I think we need more patriots who are willing to expose the truth and bring more sunlight to what really happened.
One man's leak is another man's whistleblower, patriot.
This is not patriotism. This is exposing national security information. I mean, it's despicable. Because your judgment call on this, you might like this, but you don't like something else. You can't have leaks. This is unacceptable. It's really endemic of a larger problem we got going on government, that people just feel emboldened. If they don't like something, leak it.
Well, there's one thing I'll say, though. This is one thing that we definitely disagree on, but it is going to add to political fodder, I think, for the FBI, for Comey's testimony on Thursday. I'm sure it's going to come up.
Yeah, and, the administration just can't get out from the shadow of this Russian investigation. During the campaign, Donald Trump, he could send out an incendiary tweet, and that would change the news cycle. Everyone would sort of jump on board. Yeah, that worked really well during the campaign. It's not working so well for him now as president. Every time he sends out a tweet, John, it just seems to backfire at the moment.
I think that has been the main frustration of the communications team as well. I mean, there has been no message discipline coming out of the White House. And I think it's also been the frustration of President Trump, because you're right, his ability to control the narrative via tweet was essentially why he got elected. And now, as much as he wants to shift to a narrative of the day, it ends up backfiring. And his own staff now are saying, don't take him literally. He's saying, take me literally.
Yeah.
It's a problem. He doesn't get this discipline together. It'll significantly undermine his presidency and could cost him in the midterms.
The weekend Twitter attack, in particular, on London's Mayor Sadiq Khan, after his city had been hit by a terrorist attack, it was roundly criticised. But then, Donald Trump did not let up. On Monday, he tweeted this: "Pathetic excuse by London Mayor Sadiq Khan, who had to think fast on his feet. No reason to be alarmed statement. Mainstream media is working hard to sell it." Dave, that's just not right. It's completely wrong.
It's petty, it's childish, and it's reckless. I mean, we're supposed to lend a friendly hand. This is the country that we've got a special relationship with, pardon me. And at a time when they're in crisis, we need to be helping them, not fanning the flames and creating a wedge between our country and theirs.
Well, the president did immediately offer full support of the U.S. as soon after it happened. So it's not like he didn't.
There was a few steps before it got to that. There was the travel ban, there was salaming the mayor, there was a couple other things.
No. I think on the day of the attack over the weekend, he immediately offered
at the Ford Theater
support.
charity event.
But you got to understand, I mean, President Trump is part of what's so refreshing to his supporters about him is that he's honest and that he's going, this is reason to be alarmed. This is not a little thing.
Well, when it comes to the feud with London's mayor, White House Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders really struggled to make sense of that during the briefing today. Listen to this.
I think that they matter in the sense that it gives him a communications tool, again, that isn't filtered through media bias. But at the same time, I do think that the media obsesses over every period dot.
So it's a good communication tool, but just don't obsess over it. The other thing she went on to say is that, oh, it wasn't an insult when Trump called the mayor pathetic. You know, if she's going to try and square that circle, you know, Dave, she'll need to do a better job than that if she wants Spicer's job, right?
Yeah, right, absolutely. I mean, look, no doubt it's a tough job. I mean, you've got, just days ago, Sean Spicer was saying that there was no travel ban. The Homeland Security Secretary said there was no travel ban. And then you've got Donald Trump today tweeting there's a travel ban. So clearly the left hand's not talking to the right hand, and he continues to undermine his staff at every chance he gets. But no doubt it is an extraordinarily tough job. But I think it underscores the dysfunction and the chaos that just continues to exist in this White House. Pardon me.
And you know, that line that we've been saying about, you know, don't pay too much attention to the president's tweets after, you know, the tweets speak for themselves. This now seems to be the new tack which some within the White House are trying to spin out. Listen to this.
This obsession with covering everything he says on Twitter and very little of what he does as president.
It's not policy. It's not an executive order. It's social media. Please understand the difference.
John, that would be like Stephen Early saying, don't take anything FDR says on the radio seriously. It's just the radio. You know, tweets are an official form of communication. A form of communication with an official statement.
It is. I mean, the radio isn't limited to what, 174 characters.
140,
Yeah, okay. So it's a little different. But yes, the president has to tighten up his tweets. I think this is really just the latest attempt of the White House communication team grappling with how to struggle with this. Not, you know, their idea of, you know, don't take him literally, take him more figuratively. It's a struggle. Look, there's no real easy way to get around it. They're words out of the president's mouth. I don't know how you slice it any other way.
I think it's a little disingenuous for Kellyanne Conway to go on television to say that, because just today it was her husband,
yes,
who was angling for a job in the Justice Department, by the way, who last week was on the short list, who went out and criticized the president today, basically saying you're undercutting the DOJ's argument before the Supreme Court on this travel ban. So you've literally got her husband responding to the president on Twitter today.
Because that's the only thing he takes any notice of, it seems, right?
I guess so.
The president was tweeting about the attack in London, calling it an act of terror, long before there was any official confirmation from officials in Britain. So with that in mind, around the same time, the Secretary of Defense, James Mattis, was asked to comment about what happened in London. This is how a grown-up handles it. Listen to this.
The London police are saying this is a terrorist attack. We have 2 dead, dozens wounded. What does it say about
I need to confirm everything. I like learning about something before I talk, so let me look into it.
Is this why the United States needs a travel ban?
Thanks, guys. I need to look into it.
So, John, it's not like there's no one at the White House who can advise the president on how to deal with these things.
Yeah, I mean, he's a seasoned pro at this, so it's no surprise. But I believe the series of events was the president called it a terrorist attack after he had been briefed of the event. So
he retweeted a Drudge report.
What he was right. He didn't get it wrong, but he also, I remember watching on CNN, the coverage said the president had been briefed, and I think I saw the tweet right after that. It might have been off of a Drudge story, but look, if he were wrong, it would be a whole different story.
He was wrong on the Philippines.
He was wrong on the Philippines. That's what I was going to say. And I think that's the danger, is like, what happens if something happens domestically and you've got the President of the United States tweeting out fake news or misinformation, and then the public consumes that information thinking that it's true because it's the President of the United States. That's the real danger.
You're right, but I think while we're having a semantic argument, terrorists are killing people, and so we're shifting the conversation away, what he should have said, when he should have said it, rather than how do we eradicate radical Islamic terrorism. I think that's what frustrates the president.
Okay. We'll leave it there. Thanks to you both.
Thanks.
You.